don't do this very long, because there's a price that you pay that is not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. And that price is depression, deep depression, a severe brain imbalance that's going to lead you to addiction. It leads so many people to impulsive behavior.
Of anything of that sort. That's a federal crime. And trust me, people would love to see Jake Paul end up in jail.
Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. And he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting.
After getting a broken jaw from Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul may have to retire from boxing. Joe Rogan talked about the fight and said Jake has already done a lot in his career and made a lot of money. Rogan warned that fighting at this level is very dangerous and could cause lasting body injuries or mental health problems like depression. He said the risk is no longer worth it and that Jake should step away from boxing to stay safe. Rogan's message shows how serious it can be when fighters push past safe limits.
Big right hand.
He did.
Didn't have any effect.
Yeah.
Because he's, really, he weighed 216, but he's doesn't even have abs, right, at 216. He could easily weigh 190.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could make 190.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua's gigantic.
So big.
He's so big. He's so much bigger. So, of course, like, his punch that he knocks Tyron Woodley out cold with, Joshua just eats it.
Yeah.
Because he's a giant.
Yeah.
He's a fucking giant man.
So big, dude.
He's so big.
I give Jake so much credit for stepping into that ring.
Bro, he got hit with a bomb,
Yeah.
a right-hand bomb.
When he got hit with that too, I don't know if enough has been made of the fact that, it was absolutely devastating. But the fact that he had awareness immediately to go like he looked at the crowd
he's
like, oh shit,
"Whoa."
like wow.
He goes,
It
"I got
wasn't like
cracked."
yeah.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen,
yeah.
and ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it, and that he could do well for a little bit.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually just deal with the fact that Anthony Joshua is going to connect with a bomb,
Yeah.
and breaks his jaw in 2 places.
Yeah. And
He's fucked. His jaw's wired shut now. He lost teeth.
he made it to the 6th round.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Did they put your teeth back in when they pop out like that, or are they gone forever?
I don't know. But it's just wired shut for like 6 weeks now.
Yeah, you got to eat nothing but protein shakes.
Chael Sonnen strongly criticized Jake Paul's recent fight, saying matches like this are too dangerous and should not happen. He said the fight felt less like real boxing and more like trying to survive. Jake spent most of the fight moving around and avoiding big hits. When he had to step in and fight, he quickly pulled back to stay safe. At times, he even dropped to his knees or used grappling just to avoid getting badly hurt. Sonnen said Jake's fight was about lasting as long as possible, like an animal trapped in a cage doing everything it can to survive.
These guys fought. That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. And he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. He was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me.
Even though Jake showed strong will and could handle pressure, Sonnen warned that fights like this are very dangerous for both the body and mind. He said these risks can cause long-term damage if they keep happening. While Jake's bravery was clear, Sonnen stressed that a fighter's safety should always come first. He said putting athletes in such risky fights is irresponsible and could lead to serious harm.
I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in 1 round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua is more experienced or better. I believe I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
Nikki Sabedarian, co-founder of MVP, praised Jake Paul's courage and strength after his tough fight with Anthony Joshua. He said Jake showed amazing heart, keeping on fighting even after being knocked down several times and breaking his jaw in 2 places. Badarian added that Jake was not just trying to survive, he even won the 4th round, showing real growth and skill as a boxer. He made it clear there were no deals or contracts with Joshua to affect the fight, saying any attempt to do so would be illegal and wrong. Despite criticism from some fans and boxing experts, Badarian said Jake's performance showed strong determination to take on a top athlete. Facing a world-class opponent like Joshua shows both bravery and commitment. Badarian also said Jake still wants to get revenge on Tommy Fury and prove himself even more in the ring. Overall, he said Jake is ready to face top competition, handle tough challenges, and keep growing as a serious boxer.
I don't think it was a moral victory because he expected to win. I do think he showed who he is as a fighter. I think he deployed the strategy that he was very clear about going into, that he was going to look to make AJ miss, and AJ missed a number of times. And ultimately, I think the weight of AJ caught up to Jake Paul. If you look at the first 3 rounds, AJ wasn't really able to touch him. But when AJ was in a clinch with him a couple of times, pushed down on the back of his neck, pushed down on the back of his head, got him to the ground. There was a few times where Jake looked like he was going for a takedown. Again, that was Jake trying to engage in the clinch, and AJ smartly moved back. In one instance, I think it was the 5th round, Jake engaged for a clinch, AJ moved back and started punching down on Jake's back. So all of those things kind of deteriorated or emptied Jake's gas tank a lot earlier than I think he expected it to. But overall, I thought he deployed his game plan well for the first 5 rounds and actually had some success. He even moved AJ back a few times, 1 by just jabbing in the air, and 2, when he caught him, he moved AJ back. AJ came right back in and swung, but he did move him back.
Frank Warren praised Jake Paul for showing great courage in his fight against Anthony Joshua. He said stepping into such a big fight takes real bravery and confidence. Warren pointed out that Jake, a cruiserweight with only 12 fights, faced a huge challenge against a top 10 heavyweight like Joshua, who is still one of the best in the world. Even though it was a tough matchup, Jake landed some good shots, including jabs and a near uppercut, and Warren felt he won the 4th round. Warren said people may criticize or overthink the fight, but everyone knows it was a massive challenge and Jake stepped up. He added that the fight gave excitement, spectacle, and a chance for Jake to show his resilience, courage, and determination against top-level competition.
Versus Jake Paul. Somewhat anticlimactic. I mean, look, the KO was fantastic, but going 6 rounds, what did you make of it?
Just took longer than he took longer than he needed done. I mean, Jake showed a lot of courage, but the money they're getting, that's what you do. You got to show courage when you're getting that paid that type of money, and he did. He was obviously, it was a massive ask of him, a cruiserweight who's only had 12 fights, and against sort of not the greatest opposition, to be stepping up and fighting somebody of AJ's ilk, who's still a top 10 ranked heavyweight in the world. And he did, in my opinion, he caught him a couple of jabs, nearly caught him a good uppercut, and I thought the 4th round, I thought he nicked it. So what do I think of it? I thought, AJ got a few quid, good luck to him, God bless him, and whatever, but come on, that's not all. Well, no one's running away with it, are they? We all know what it was. We're not, we're not stupid. We all know you got eyeballs, and all these moaners are moaning. What did you go and buy it for? What was you expecting to see? It was what it was. It billed for what it was, and that was it. I mean, I didn't stay up to see it. I just put it on when I got up in the morning and watched it back on Netflix, and that's it. And I don't agree with all this stuff about it besmirches boxing. Whether it's not boxing, it wasn't sanctioned by any far as I understand, any of the governing bodies. It went on in Florida, and a bit like Texas, they let things go on that won't get on elsewhere.
On Jake Paul's performance as a whole, Eddie's come off the back of it and said, look, he's not a world beater. I thought he was an average cruiserweight. I'd say now he's probably a decent cruiserweight. Have you changed your thoughts on his level at all?
No, because look, he's a professional boxer. He trains as a professional boxer. That's what he does.
Timothy Bradley criticized Jake Paul's strategy in the fight, saying that running away was the worst choice against such a strong opponent. He said that when facing a bully in the ring, a fighter must stand their ground early to earn respect. Bradley felt that Jake did not do this, which hurt his performance. He added that many boxing experts expected Jake to avoid fighting instead of pushing back. Bradley said that if he were in Jake's corner, he would have pushed him to face the challenge, remember the big payday, and show courage. He stressed that standing firm is key to a fighter's respect and credibility.
Well, it wasn't really a fight, to be honest with you. It was not a fight because Jake ran like a bitch. I said bitch, I didn't say the real one. So, but I'm just saying he ran. And, you know, I knew, and I was talking to different boxing pundits, you know, around, and they were asking me, you know, Tim, what would you do if you was in the same situation as Jake Paul? And this is before the fight. You know, I talked to a lot of people outside, you know, and I told them, I said, see, they gonna run, and that's the worst thing that they can do. You know, when you facing a guy, you know, bully, you got to stand up to the bully. You know, you got to send a message early on. You know, we talk about fighting for, you know, dominance or, you know, getting respect. See, that was the issue. Jake didn't get respect early on. You know, if I was in his corner, I would have said, hey, man, look, we here. You know, you getting paid $94 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, we here to fight, bruh. You know, we not here to survive. We here to fight. But you got to go out here and you got to hit this man as hard as you possibly can in the first round. You got to step to him. You know, you got to, almost like kamikaze style. You know, you got to attack him, because if you put AJ on his back foot and you keep him defensive, you know, AJ is not a great fighter off his back foot as he is when he's coming forward. You know, and AJ is the type of guy that feeds off of guys that, you know, respect him, one, or fear him. And AJ felt, because of the experience that he has, he felt like this dude fears me. You know what I mean? He's already on his bike, he's circling around.
Brendan Schaub criticized how Jake Paul's fight against Anthony Joshua was promoted, saying the hype was misleading and unrealistic. He explained that asking if Jake could actually beat Joshua was absurd because there was never a real chance for an upset. Schaub pointed out the huge difference in skill and size between the two fighters. While some fans thought Jake might get a lucky punch, this was very unlikely against the top professional heavyweight. He added that even if Jake hits hard for his weight, it doesn't compare to the power of elite heavyweights. Schaub suggested that a better way to promote the fight would have been to ask if Jake could survive, last all the rounds, and avoid a knockout. By being more realistic, fans could have appreciated Jake's effort without being misled by impossible expectations.
Spidey senses will come off that Anthony Joshua's not taking this real, and he's not putting his best performance forward. That's the issue. The issue is Anthony's like, how much you gonna pay me? It's on Netflix? Hold up. I can fight this guy who, you know, when I was an amateur teenager, I fought better guys. And I have how much weight on him? I can fight him for how much money? Dude, I'll beat him in my sleep. Correct. And you should. And it's such a disservice to the sport of boxing and to the actual fans of boxing if Anthony Joshua doesn't go out there and absolutely dominate Jake Paul. If it goes to decision, if it goes past 6 rounds, Houston, we have a problem. Boxing, we have a problem. And now, people are going, where was this energy with Gervonta Davis? Different. You're talking about a very, very small guy. I've worked with Gervonta. He's fucking tiny. And size can overshadow a lot of that stuff. I still think Gervonta should still win that fight. And the body shots, if he's taking it seriously, that should have got the job done. But obviously he has his legal issues and that went out the window. But when you're talking about an actual world-class heavyweight who went toe-to-toe with Klitschko, with fucking all these bad boys, if Anthony Joshua takes this serious as he should, this shouldn't even be a competition, and it's brilliant because for Jake, okay, cool, man. Got knocked out by one of the best to ever do it, or got finished by one of the best to do it. At least I got in there, and I'm not even a heavyweight. I'm a cruiserweight at best. Either I'm too light in the ass for that. I should be fighting down. He's shooting for the moon. He's going to land on the stars.
Sean Porter recognizes Jake Paul's courage, even with all the heavy criticism he has faced after his recent fight. Many boxing fans and experts have attacked Jake for taking fights people see as unfair or for boxing without a traditional background. Some have even told him to stop, warning that his choices could hurt his career or reputation. Still, Porter says it takes real bravery to face some of the best fighters in the world, no matter what others think. He explains that Jake keeps chasing his goals even when he knows people will criticize him. Porter adds that ignoring outside opinions and following your own path takes strong mental strength, and Jake shows this again and again. Even when the odds are against him and the public doubts him, Jake steps into the ring ready to prove himself. While many focus on the controversy around his career, Porter gives Jake credit for his fearlessness and dedication. In Porter's view, the courage to face tough opponents deserves respect, no matter the criticism.
The reality setting in of fighting a fighter like that would make you shit yourself and have a nervous breakdown in the locker room. So he's right in giving Jake credit for that. But then immediately after says, you know, what was that? You know, and he's right. So he's right about that. And, well, here's to support Paulie's claim about it all is we criticize fighters who made a lot less money, who have a lot more pedigree for excessive movement, stinking the place out, all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, think of how much Shakur got for the De Los Santos fight. Some of it deserved, like, you know, it is what it is. You're fighting for the title, and it's a big boys game, and you deserve the criticism and the praise that you get. So Paulie's point, it's like guys who have fought at a lot higher level for a lot less money have gotten a lot more criticism than for the effort Jake Paul put forth, where, yeah, he was moving a lot. But, I mean, I'll get to the other deeper aspects of it all, but to give Jake Paul credit, he did wing some right hands with the intention of knocking Anthony Joshua out. And he did fight the fight that I said he would fight. I did not pick the fight last week, so for people trying to cook me, I didn't want really too much to do with this fight. But he did, you know, move excessively, you could say, but that was his only path to victory, was to just move against the bigger man and then wing the occasional shot and hope Joshua, who's been knocked out a few times, can't take that shot. But Joshua could take the shot. And to give each guy their due, Paulie summed it up perfectly. If you want to really hear Jake Paul get some credit, listen to my guy Max Kellerman, who talked about his big imagination and pulling things, not letting other people's limitations and ideas of you stop you and your dreams and all that. But to give Joshua his due, along with doing the business, getting the knockout.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.